What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin Cash. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more. Shout out to the Dragon Riders and the House of the Dragon, of course. It is the 15th of July. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's the 14th of July on this chart. Where I'm at in the world, it's actually still the 13th, but it'll be the 14th shortly. You know, I'm using the Binance chart because, again, something's going on Coinbase, right? I don't know. Someone might be trying to push the price up or I don't know what the deal is, but we're getting these wicks that come right at around like 395, 390 to 395. And if you go to any other exchange, they're just not there. You know, this is Binance USDT. If we go to Kraken, they're not there. Really, like anything, right? Even the crypto chart, which is kind of just like the overall index of it, it doesn't have that. So when I say crypto, I mean over here it just says crypto, right? All these are the exchanges, but that one just says crypto. Awanda, I guess Awanda had a little bit. Oh, actually, no. This one's such low liquidity, it's actually not even up to date with price. So, anyways, we're going to use the USDT chart again on Binance today. We are moving up a little bit, but this isn't like anything that's unexpected, right? I know that throughout this range, there's been a couple times, especially after this day, I was like, well, we're probably not going to get this move. Before this day happened, I was expecting a move somewhat similar to this, actually. And then after this day, I was like, nope, doesn't look like it's happening. And then ever since this day, I've been more or less anticipating a move that would take us up somewhere around here, but not above $410. I do expect that we're going to move down. I keep calling for that, right? But even though I've been calling for that, we are slowly but surely creeping our way up. So the area to beat is about $410, right? That's the high point here in this resistance zone. If we look at the relative high here to the relative low, the 382 is right there. It's technically at 409, but 409, 410, it's not that big of a difference on a $400 asset, $1. I don't think that's that big of a difference. And there's other things too that line up with that area, I believe. Let me see. Maybe not there. 420 on the 618, but I think breaking 410 would be a little bit more significant. Maybe it's this overall low to high. I forget. Yeah, 382 on that as well. And then let's see if there's anything that lines up here from this high to this low. 437, all around that low 400 area, but I'm not completely convinced that we're going to break that. I do think that we have one more leg down. If we look at this on a 4-hour basis, this does look like some consolidation to the upside. It looks like we're in a prevailing downtrend, absolutely. We are overbought right now. The last few times that we've been in the overbought zone here, I'll just mark it right now, right? We'll go over it here, overbought there, and this is what the price was like, right? And that was our kind of most relative significant high that we had. Overbought right here, right in that zone, and right there, that was the top. Here we were overbought a little bit, but here we were actually living in it for a second or two, right? Just like this. It's not just like a little up and then down kind of action. We're actually in it for more than just one candle or two candles. Same thing here, near the top above the green line. Overbought here a little bit. You did continue to climb, but there was some bearish divergence on the 4-hour. And yeah, this is all the way back to going back to whenever we started this downtrend. So we do have higher highs, right, in the RSI, lower highs in the price. I'm actually curious to see what the long-term RSI looks like. If we're above the 50, that gives me a little bit of hope, but it's not too much to go off. We're still below the 50. Okay, so being below the 50, being above the green line's pointed down, I very much do believe that we're going to go down soon. This would actually be an ideal point to sell based off the way that I use this long-term RSI, but enough of that. Let's put it back on the short term. There we go. Looking at this on a 1-hour basis, shorter term time frames, we do have price increasing while volume is decreasing. That's never a good look in itself, but it doesn't always mean that you have to go down. Rejecting the overbought zone, finding support on the 50. You're definitely battling it out. The bulls are maintaining control, but if we give up this zone here, give up about like $370, then perhaps we do see a move down, and what I'm expecting would take us back below this low here. I do think most cryptos at least have a final flush to go sometime this month is what I'm expecting. We'll see, time will tell. But this does look kind of perfect for another lower high in a series of lower highs that we've had right throughout this whole range. So if we don't go lower than this low, perhaps we do form some kind of higher low or double bottom. but I would expect, you know, we're at 381 right now. I would expect that we would see prices probably below 325 again, at least, if not lower. Those targets down at around 280 to 260, more specifically 260 to 270, they're still on the table. We don't have to go there, but they are still on the table. Coming back to previous areas of support, you know, and then finding resistance, that's not uncommon at all. The daily RSI does have higher highs as well, along with the lower highs in price. That is hidden bearish divergence, and generally you see that come, the way that plays out is it just marks a continuation of the trend, right? Continuation would mean lower highs, we get a lower low to continue the trend. And I do think this next low will be our last low, but time will tell. We'll see how it goes. I'm open to being wrong, man. I've been wrong before, I'll be wrong again, but I'm not at the point where I would forego my lower targets quite yet. If we can break above 410, I would definitely change the tone a little bit. We'd have to stay above there and close above there, but and I shouldn't even say stay above there. If we close above there for a couple days and then we work our way back down, but we hold this area as support, I think it would be fine, right? We don't have to maintain prices completely above 410, but getting above there would be the first indication that I think this is the low. And we don't even need that to mark that this is the low. You know, we could go up to this area of resistance here, not even break 410, reject off of it, and if we hold support down there, you know, somewhere in this zone between about 363 to 344, somewhere in that zone, that would actually to me indicate that this is the low. If we reject this area, come down, that doesn't mean that we're condemned to lower lows, as long as we hold this previous area of support here, which is also the previous areas of support back here. So just the same old stuff, guys. Nothing new, right? Nothing other than we're up an extra like few percent from yesterday. So that's really all I have to say. I don't know if I've got anything else. We could talk about the long term a little bit, right? Let's actually go. This one we can use the Coinbase chart. It's got the most history, at least with volume on it, right? If we look at the relative cycle high to the relative cycle low, we did reject the 61869 area. We actually tipped the 618 coming down here. It's very common. It's very, very, very common to find support on the 382, which is after interacting with the 618, right? Coming up to your 618 on the first attempt, coming back down to your 382 to find support, and that just happens to be right there at 267 as well. So more things lining up with that. It would be a higher low overall. Looking at the weekly RSI still doesn't look too good. Actually, the daily RSI, we already went over that, so yeah. I would expect that we are close to moving down on this last little bit here, right? We're very close to doing that. I don't think that we're going to go up too much more. If we do, cool, whatever, but I don't know if we get above these wicks, right? Maybe these, for whatever reason, they're on Coinbase, but maybe that's the ultimate area of resistance right now that we're just not going to get above. Who knows? But we really could start turning around today. We might start moving down today or sometime next week. It depends. It is Sunday, so we've got a whole week to go after today closes. I wanted to look at this here. What was it? I wanted to do this, yeah. Long-term projections. 382, nice. I wouldn't expect that this month, I don't expect this month closes below 340. 347 actually. I wouldn't expect that it does. So with that in mind, we have about half a month, a little over half a month to go. So if we started moving down this week, next week, maybe perhaps by the end of the month we do start to move up again. I would like to see us close above the 382. If we don't, it's not the end of the world, but just based off this, I would like to see that. And it does seem that we're respecting this. So all in all, at the end of the cycle, you guys know the drill. We're going to see prices move up to 13K, 53.2K, and yeah, man, this is definitely the time for Bitcoin Cash, I think, to do well, to do things that will shock the market. And when I say this is the time, I don't mean like in the short term. I just mean this cycle, right? Like over the months, not over the days and weeks. We can go down over the days and weeks and still be fine. But I've been doing a little bit of research, like research, comparing it. I guess it's research, but I've been comparing it, Bitcoin Cash, to other cryptos as far as transaction fees go, and Bitcoin Cash is definitely one of the cheaper ones out there, especially for the amount of volume that it sees. If we go to crypto, is it cryptofees.io? Yeah, it is .info. That's what it is, .info. You can see here, they don't do all cryptos. It's just like the top, I don't know if it's the top 50 or the top 80. I don't think it's even like the top 100. Maybe it is, but you can see that Bitcoin Cash here is at the bottom, right? If you look at the 1-day fees versus the 7-day fees, it is at the low end of this, and it is a little bit higher versus Polkadot, right? But to be fair, Polkadot, its last day, it just had this, so I don't think that's fair, right? Even though it is higher, I think all this to say, I think Bitcoin Cash has more volume than Polkadot, and yet it sees less fees. Source, the graph protocol. What was I going to do? Let's go to CoinGecko here. You can see, where is it? Let's go to the 100, sorry. The top 100, not the top 200. I don't know what I was looking at in the top 200 there. Bitcoin Cash being the 18th crypto by market cap, seeing $214 million in volume. Actually, if we do volume itself, let's just see. Bitcoin Cash, it's still up there. It might not be the 18th, but it is up there. Bonk is seeing more volume. Toncoin, Litecoin, Polygon, Matic, right? They're seeing more volume, and Litecoin is more expensive to transact than Bitcoin Cash is, right? Here's Bitcoin Cash all the way down here. Stellar's pretty cheap, gotta say. Ripple's more expensive. Monero is more expensive, right? That's kind of odd, and I don't think it's seeing more volume, is it? Let's see. I wonder if that's true. That doesn't sound right. Maybe it is. I don't know. Where are you, Monero? I know you're up here. Yeah, you're all the way down here, man. How are you seeing more fees and volume? That doesn't make any sense, man. But just again, comparing it, Dogecoin even, right? And Dogecoin does see a lot more volume, I think, than Bitcoin Cash does. If we go Dogecoin, yeah, it's almost 3 times the amount. So, seeing it at basically, I don't know what to make of that 24-hour period. I mean, that's a pretty big difference. I don't know. All I'm trying to show here, guys, is that Bitcoin Cash, I've seen it come up a lot in the comments and on X, and I get in arguments with people on Discord, not in my Discord, but in other Discords, and just people talking about what's so great about Bitcoin Cash. It's peer-to-peer currency. It's the better Bitcoin. It really is. I don't know if it's the real Bitcoin, right? That's up for everybody to decide. I think as of now, BTC is the real Bitcoin, but Bitcoin Cash is the better Bitcoin. No, there's no doubt about that. And it is cheaper. It's got everything that Bitcoin has, but it's better. It's literally better. It doesn't have a lot of the problems that it actually has. The ability, the capability, the developers in the ecosystem have the ability to make tweaks to it and adjust it and just make it better. It's not stagnant, right? And that's a big problem with Bitcoin itself. And I think as time goes on, things like this will just kind of show itself. People are like, what's so great about Bitcoin Cash? It's like, man, you can send any currency that you want that's in like the top 20 from one exchange to another. Bitcoin Cash will likely be the cheapest one for you to send based on transaction fees. That's actually what got me into Bitcoin Cash originally, right? Back whenever I got into crypto, it was actually a little bit before the fork. And not when I got into crypto. I got into crypto in 2015. Whenever I started getting into technical analysis, I knew that Bitcoin Cash was going to be a fork of Bitcoin, but I didn't really care, right? I wasn't really in the block size wars or like picking a side at all. I'm just like, what's gonna do the best performance wise? What can I make the most money off of, right? And I'm still kind of like that, right? I don't really try to choose a team, though Bitcoin Cash is my largest hold. But what attracted me to it was I was sending cryptos from Coinbase to other exchanges, right? Because I had my bank set up with Coinbase. I didn't have it set up with other exchanges at the time, and some exchanges I can't have it set up with because I'm an American citizen. If I send it off the exchange to other places, I found out very quickly. I was looking to which one was the cheapest one to transact. Bitcoin Cash was hands down. It was the cheapest one to send, and it still is one of the cheaper ones to send. And that's kind of what caught my attention, right? And that's the main reason I didn't care that it dumped that much. I'm like, I'll buy some Bitcoin Cash, I'll send it to another exchange, and then I'll trade it for another crypto, whatever I wanted, back in these times. But obviously that's not the case now. I do hold a lot of Bitcoin Cash, but again, just the point being that it's very cheap to transact relative to anything that's near it. And to the Caspa people, because I actually had a person who likes Caspa asking me to compare it to Caspa. It's dramatically cheaper than Caspa is to send, right? Everybody acts like Caspa is this great, and it might have some innovative nuances that are special, right? That make Caspa unique. Don't all cryptos, right? That's the fallacy that most crypto cults have, is they think their crypto's the one. It's so special, and it's like, no, it's got some unique things about it, but really, like in the overall space, in the overall like scope of things, it's not significant enough to make that much of a difference. Maybe it is, but the whole point that I'm really trying to drive home here is that it's like, I got a bunch of different numbers I was looking across. I'm not going to do it now because I actually want to end this video. This has gone on longer than I meant for. But it's like 5 to 10 times cheaper. Some sites say even more than that to send Bitcoin Cash from exchange to exchange than it would be to send Caspa. Based off what I saw, I can buy Caspa, I guess, if I wanted to use DEXs, but there's no exchange that I can buy it and send it on, right? Like it's got the Caspa perpetual futures here on Kraken, and I have a Kraken account, but that wouldn't actually be owning Caspa. I don't have I have a Binance account, I have a KuCoin account, but I'm locked out because those are, I'm an American citizen. So I can't send it myself, but I'm just curious for anybody out there who, if you like Caspa or you like Bitcoin Cash, go ahead just for funsies, man. Send them from exchange to exchange. See which one's cheaper. I would bet Bitcoin Cash is dramatically cheaper. Send $1, send $5, whatever the minimum amount is. If you don't want to waste the money, because you technically would be wasting the money on fees to some degree, whatever the amount is, then don't worry about it. But I don't know. I think that's a big deal, and everybody's so bullish on Caspa because the chart looks like this, right? A lot of people, whenever they find out that I like Bitcoin Cash, these Caspa people, they'll make fun of it because Caspa's chart looks phenomenal. It absolutely does, but it's not hard for something to pump in its first cycle, right? It matters what they do after that, right? And that's something that Bitcoin Cash has on Caspa, is that it's been around for multiple cycles now. It's held higher lows. It does have lower highs, but technically this isn't a downtrend, right? It's a consolidation, it's a consolidation phase, an accumulation phase, whatever you want to see. And BCH versus BTC itself is doing things differently than it ever has before, right? It's lost a lot of value versus BTC. It always has, and this cycle it's turning a new leaf. We have 2 higher lows as of right now, which I don't think we've ever had before, and we're just waiting on our higher high to get our first higher low, higher high in congruence, in conglomeration together, right? Whatever the proper word would be. Maybe they're both proper. And at that point, I really do think it'll be undeniable, right? I'm very much excited. I think we all should be excited whenever we break these high points here. It's going to be something worth talking about. At that point, there's just no denying it that it will outperform Bitcoin itself this cycle. And I think that can be the beginning of something more fierce, a bit of a storm for Bitcoin Cash in itself. It could finally promote this narrative that a lot of us Bitcoin Cash believers have, which is that Bitcoin Cash can compete with Bitcoin. Every other coin that thinks it can compete with Bitcoin, they all have one thing in common. As time goes on, they become insignificant, right? They're a nothing, who cares, whatever, right? And Bitcoin Cash doesn't really have a leg to stand on in that space, but we're about to. I should say in that sense, but we're about to. And it starts with the change of trend in the BCH BTC chart. It really does. But man, I'm just yammering on here. I gave you the TA. It hasn't really changed, right? So that's all I got to say, guys. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you want to see more content. I appreciate you all for being here. Take care of yourselves. Drink some water. I need to get my water, man. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.